Hi, this is Kelly Henderson. I'm the Director of Formed Families Forward, and I'm here to share with you another less than 5 minute lesson on hints for helping your children learn at home. I have my apple here because, again, many of you parents and caregivers have suddenly joined the ranks of teachers in your own home. So I hope to share some meaningful tips for you today. I am a lifelong special educator and have worked in public schools as well as university settings, and I'm glad to share these evidence-based practices based on research as well as experience. So let's get started. Some rules of thumb, some very specific rules of thumb that might be helpful to you as you begin to think about your teaching opportunities. Keep the lessons very short and sweet. Just as we do in our day-to-day life with raising our children, we know that very specific and limited demands are often best received. So we want to keep our academic demands in the similar vein. Think about the essence of what you're trying to teach and focus on the core concepts and set aside some of the extras for now. Intersperse activity and seat work. I suggested in a previous video that you have one spot, whether it's a desk or a table, but a consistent place for your child to do his or her work with the appropriate materials and nothing else distracting. And it is very reasonable to expect a child, most children, to sit and do some seat work, whether it's paper pencil tasks or virtual learning tasks. But it is important to keep a mix of activity and that seat work. So sometimes you may want to take a break, have the child stand up, do some activities, maybe even create something, drawing, some type of artwork, build something with blocks, and then return to the seat work. It's really important during this time that's so challenging for all of us and so many unknowns to prioritize that relationship. So if something is not working with the academic lesson, it is just fine. It is just fine to set it aside and focus on the relationship. Those academic tasks will be there, but you need to maintain that relationship, as it looks like it's going to be a long haul for many of us with our children home for a good time to come. Give yourself and your child grace. This is a really challenging time. Be very upfront about that. Be very upfront that you sometimes don't know what you're doing or don't understand the work that the school may have sent home, and give your child the same kind of leeway and help them express the feelings that they might be having around frustrations and anxieties. Where possible, connect with teachers. They have worked with your child or children since the beginning of the school year and probably have some very helpful suggestions to help you get through some of the academic tasks. It's also really important for your child to connect with a non-parenting adult once in a while who cares about them. And so that's another opportunity to connect with folks that care about your child but are not doing this day-to-day academic instruction. Be flexible in your approach. We know that some things are going to work and some things are not going to work, and some days it's going to work and some days it's not going to work. But also teach flexibility, and your child watches you. And so the way you approach tasks or frustrations when the virtual learning platform is not working, or there's a task that seems too hard or too strange, they will watch how you respond to that. Similarly, you can actually teach flexibility skills and teach a child to manage their behavior and and regulate despite the challenges of frustration and anxiety and something that's unknown or new and different. Specific strategies, acknowledge the challenges, similar to what I've mentioned earlier. It's really important to just be really honest with your child that this is a tough time. This is a tough time for you. This is a tough time for our communities. And it's really a tough time for your child who's lost their day-to-day normal of school. Be clear about your expectations and be positive about them. And I think those can be set at the beginning of the day or beginning of the lesson and reminded throughout the day. Be clear about what acknowledgments or incentives you are going to be using. These children are in unusual circumstances, and it's really important to acknowledge that they are persevering and that they are performing in ways that are desirable. So you can talk a little bit about what rewards or incentives might be important for them, that those don't have to be tangibles. Those can be social incentives, time with you that has nothing to do with learning. It may also be activities, you know, taking a walk, doing a puzzle. So those can be incentives as well as the tangibles. For some kids, tangibles are really key, and things like token boards can be helpful. If you set those incentive systems, though, you must remember to honor them, even if the work that was produced during that interval wasn't maybe the ideal. If you said they're going to work for 15 minutes and they work for 15 minutes, even if it's not the work that you expected, they did that, and you need to honor that incentive. Assistive technology and accessibility tools are really key for many of our children, particularly our children with special needs. So you can definitely ask your school about those options, as well as just the basic programs that are available. There's often accessibility tools available that may be hidden, and so learning about those may help your child. Things like read aloud, or even increasing screen size so there's less text on a page. Sandwich more difficult demands between easier ones, and that's why we have the picture of the sandwich there. Start with an easy request, fill it with a little bit harder or new learning, new demand, and then close with an easier task. And this can go for behavior and social emotional requests as well as academic requests. And if you are finding your kiddos' behaviors are really interfering with learning, it's important to step back and consider what needs those difficult behaviors are meeting. We know that stressed brains don't learn, and if a child is in fight, flight, or freeze mode, it's going to be almost impossible for them to take on academic learning. So it's really important to get behind the behaviors, understand the function of those behaviors, and address those behaviors in a way that still meets their function but works better for everyone in the learning environment. Finally, on Facebook, we are posting daily resources that we find that are helpful to families learning at home, as well as to families who are raising children with special needs. So please follow us on Facebook and check us out on our website. There's lots of resources there for families day to day. At any time, if your family needs support, let us know. We are running virtual support groups, and we are here to help you through the hurdles. So contact us anytime. Good luck with your learning at home, and take good care.